Hello everybody and welcome to whatever this is. I surely hope you're doing great wherever you are and doing your best to better yourself and the people around you. Yeah, and I know the weekend is for sports, but we have some breaking news, and this breaking news, not really breaking right now, but in the past day, or depends on the time that you watch this, but as at the time of recording, it's within the same day, a number of hours, that this information came in, and this one involves two players. One, Mykhailo Mudryk of Chelsea Football Club, and Marcus Rashford of Manchester United. So this depends on the angle in which you are looking at it, but for rival fans of those two clubs, it's fantastic news. It's excellent news. Sometimes you would want to see your rival teams in the mud, but again, when you look at it from a humanly perspective, it's really it leaves a sour taste in the mouth. Okay, let's go one by one. Let's start with Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford is a Manchester United player, and the breaking news is that he has said, and this is not a quote, not really a quote, it's not a paraphrase from somewhere, someone had a rumor about this or this or this, but in an interview, he said that he is ready for a new challenge. And we all know what a new challenge means. It's not in Manchester. Well, it could be in Manchester, but not in Manchester United. For Player FC, I think there are those people who are more fans of players than fans of the team. So you'd go to the length of supporting the player at the expense of the team. So like, if it was Rashford, he would have done this and this and this, but the team lost. So what's the essence? Or Rashford scored and people are like, it's the other players who are wasting him, blah blah blah, but still the team lost, which begs the question, who do you support, the player or the club? What should be your priority? If the player leaves the club, do you leave the club or you stay put? Yeah, at the end of the day, players are professionals. They stay in the club for a while and they leave. Managers come and leave, but supporters remain constant. So let me read an article from Sky Sports. So Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford tells Henry Winter he is ready for a new challenge 2 days after being dropped by Ruben Amorim for Sunday's Manchester derby. So Rashford, who is 27 years old right now, was left out of Ruben Amorim's squad for the Manchester derby at the weekend, which United dramatically won 2-1. I think we all saw that. Every rival fan was watching that game. Yeah, with the head coach appearing to question his professionalism in training, which he said that for me personally, I think I am ready for a new challenge. Now this is Marcus Rashford speaking. And the next steps. So Rashford, who has been at the club for almost 20 years, is 27. So that means he got into the club when he was 7. Told Winter during a visit to his former primary school on Tuesday, "When I leave, it's going to be no hard feelings. When I leave, it's going to be no hard feelings. If I know that a situation is already bad, I am not going to make it worse." Okay. I've seen how other players have left in the past, and I don't want to be that person. When I leave, I'll make a statement and it will be from me. He added, "It's disheartening to be left out of the derby, but it's happened. We won the game, so let's move on." It's disappointing, but I'm also someone as I've got older, I can deal with setbacks. What I am going to do about it, sit there and cry about it, or do my best the next time I'm available. Sky Sports News first reported Rashford, who has scored 7 times in 24 appearances this season, was on a collision course with the Ineos leadership and their clean culture approach earlier this year after he breached former manager Erik Ten Hag's rules for a third time in January. Amorim, Ten Hag's replacement, has also been unimpressed with Rashford's application at the training ground and his general demeanor, which led to his omission from the squad on Sunday. It is important to say it was not a disciplinary thing. The manager confirmed when asked by Rashford why Rashford was missing. So for me, what is important is the performance in training, the performance in the game, the way you dress, the way you eat, the way you engage with teammates and push teammates. So Rashford's professionalism has also been questioned by Sky Sports' Gary Neville. And remember, Gary Neville is a legend of the club, class of 92. For the newer United fans, you really need to know about the class of 92. Recently, after he flew to the US during the recent international break and was pictured watching the NBA game in New York. Yeah, so I think Manchester United as an institution has been having problems, and I don't know if a new manager comes in, there's like a feud with players, or from the outside looking in, you could think that is the case, even though for professionalism's sake, some never really come out to say, except you all know the Ronaldo situation and also Sancho's. People would really question, sometimes even for other players who would be looking to play in the Premier League, would Manchester United be like a destination for them to consider, given this out of the pitch drama and controversy. Yeah, anyway, I think it's a wise decision by Rashford, and I think for me personally, I think he had great moments when he did, but also I felt like Manchester United was a little bit too big for not for Manchester United, but for Rashford to be like the poster boy, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I think he would really tear it up in a lower team, the West Hams, the Crystal Palaces, and the Aston Villas of this world. But that is where we are at the moment, and I think his name has become bigger than also his impact on the pitch. Yeah, and I think for many people, you would rather have a player who delivers on the pitch, and then all these other shenanigans out there, they would go on to do them as long as they are producing things on the pitch. Yeah, but also all in all, I'd say this statement coming from Rashford is a bit more professional, and I think even players should take cue from this. In case there is a feud and they want out, they should also act professionally, because also other clubs are looking for players, and one would ask themselves, so if we fell out, what would be the consequence of the fallout? Would the player go on a smear campaign against the team? Yeah, so again, as I always like to say, it's a wait and see. Has he finally played his last match at Manchester United? The EFL Cup is coming up against Tottenham. Will he even be on the bench or it's time to move on? Will they sell in January? Will they wait till the summer? How much are they going to sell him for? There was word that he costs around 40 million, but if no team is appearing to be interested, what will the club do? Will they terminate the contract? Should clubs be on the lookout? For example, Arsenal, Chelsea, PSG, assessing the situation. Look at your wingers. Do you have a situation where a Rashford could elevate your team? Yeah, I think if for anything, clubs should be ready to splash the cash right now, but I think also they wouldn't probably go for a high fee unless they are very desperate. Yeah, again, it's a wait and see. So that's the Rashford situation. Oh, and the power just went off when we are about to talk about Mykhailo Mudryk. So I am lurking in the shadows. Anyway, we have been having power outages recently, so I think we need to do something about where we live. Anyway, we blame the Kenya Power and Lighting Company. So on the Mudryk case, so this is about now Mudryk failing a drug test. You remember when Mudryk was being touted as a potential player for Arsenal, and he was basically advertising himself for Arsenal to go and take him, and then just Chelsea came in and took him away, but he hasn't had a good time really, or a sparkling time at Chelsea for that matter. So what has been happening is that there has been all this banter among the two clubs on his performances, and comparing that signing to the Havertz signing. And I think even when the news broke out, there was the talk about whether Arsenal dodged a bullet here, but depending on where you sit and the statement that is coming out, you wouldn't ideally say that he's a cheat for failing that drug test, but really you're looking at a situation where it could have been consumed accidentally. And there is this photo that is going around where there's a tattoo in his neck and there's talent is not enough. It's written, talent is not enough. And then you wonder, was he saying something? Does the drugs have to do with talent not being enough, that you need to enhance your body in some way, shape or form to have an advantage over others? But the statement also in Sky Sports says the Chelsea forward provisionally suspended by the FA over adverse finding in urine test. So Chelsea say Mykhailo Mudryk has never knowingly used any banned substances, with the player insisting, "I have not done anything wrong." Mudryk, who has not been in recent Chelsea squads, believed his sample was contaminated. He faces a potential ban of up to 4 years. Oh my goodness, 4 years is a long time being out. So the positive test was for the prohibited substance meldonium, and occurred when Mudryk was out of the country and not with Chelsea. So for this matter, it feels like and especially now me reporting about this, it's not like I know about meldonium or anything, and I don't think any ardent football fan out there like knows the ins and outs and the banned substances. But I think from a professional standpoint, the players really need to know the banned substances, where they can be obtained, how possible is it for them to consume it or not, so that they keep themselves safe. At the end of the day, this is their career and they need to really take good care of themselves. And of course, you're never wishing anything wrong about a player or a player in an opposing team. So yeah, Chelsea are distancing themselves, saying that he did not consume when he's at the club but away. Mudryk, who faces a potential ban of up to 4 years under FA rules, said in a statement, "This is a complete shock and he has not done anything wrong. He is not training at Cobham currently and is on an individual fitness program at home and is thought to be devastated by the news. The player believes his sample was contaminated with nothing thought to have changed in his diet since he passed a UK anti-doping test in August." So Chelsea have launched their own investigation and said the 23-year-old insists he has never knowingly used any banned substances. The club are prepared to give him all the help and support he may need, including access to mental health professionals if required. He has not been in the Chelsea squad for the last 4 games, with head coach Enzo Maresca putting his absence down to illness.